But to look at a painting, listen to a concerto, or read a book of poetry is also a way of taking a stand in the world. When challenged, you may find it difficult to explain exactly where you're standing. That's because the materiality and the immateriality of the arts go hand in hand. Nothing but art operates in quite this way. Jean-Baptiste Simeon Chardin, whose still lifes and figure studies are among the supreme achievements of 18th century European civilization, said, "Painting is an island whose shores I have skirted." He was describing a mystery, but the image he chose was extraordinarily, fittingly concrete. Writers, composers, choreographers, painters, and sculptors all aim to establish a solid foundation for their imaginative flights. An argument can be made that the wilder the flights, the more solid the foundation needs to be. We believe in the unearthly fantasy of Bosch's Garden of Earthly Delights because of the graphic precision with which each element is realized. We grasp the fin de siècle France of Proust's In Search of Lost Time because the narrator's sense of time and space is plotted and elaborated with such lucidity. Proust's psychological arpeggios are rooted in his old-fashioned novelistic discipline. The character of a work of art has everything to do with the breadth and depth of the artist's engagement with the fundamentals, the principles, systems, and practices that artists depend on when putting together a work of art. We may be reluctant, and not without reason, to wholeheartedly embrace the belief held by Leonardo da Vinci and other artists of the Renaissance that the arts and the sciences offer related, if distinct, ways of searching for the truth. But there is no denying that creative spirits in many times and places have insisted that their work depends on a practice every bit as disciplined as that of any scientist. In his book, The Classical Style, the pianist Charles Rosen observed that, since the Renaissance at least, the arts have been conceived as ways of exploring the universe, as complementary to the sciences. To a certain extent, they create their own fields of research. Their universe is the language they have shaped, whose nature and limits they explore, and in exploring, transform. Certainty means very different things for artists and scientists. But the certainty of a novelist, a poet, a painter, or a musician has its own kind of truth. The laws of prosody and syntax, W.H. Auden observed of a poem, are to it what the laws of physics and chemistry are to the physical universe. Artistic practices, the theories, systems, and procedures, are more closely related to ideas about truth and reality than many modernists and formalists are inclined to acknowledge. There is nothing accidental about the arts. Even the modern painters, composers, and choreographers who have made accident a part of their practice, the painter Ellsworth Kelly and choreographer Merce Cunningham come to mind, have done so purposefully, systematically. The concreteness, the pragmatism of the arts is reflected in the treatises, notebooks, and sketchbooks that creative spirits have produced for centuries. Even artists who embrace chance talk about the laws of chance. If you're going to make something, you'd better make sure you know how to proceed. Creative spirits in different times and places, the 11th century Chinese landscape painter, the medieval illuminator of manuscripts, the 16th century Italian architect, and the late 19th century novelist, have all been engaged in processes and procedures as rigorous, disciplined, and strenuous as those of many scientists. Nowhere is that discipline clearer than in the musical arts.